here, the closeness is incredible. One minor mistake on any corner will give another guy a chance to get down inside you or a better grid position or whatever. It's amazingly close.
If it wasn't for the GTi series, I wouldn't be racing this year because I couldn't get the money together to do anything. Formula Ford is around about $100,000 in Australia, and this is $30,000, and you walk away with a car at the end of the season if you don't bend it too much.
And for anyone keen to glimpse tomorrow's stars in their GTi cars, here's where the remaining rounds of this inaugural Suzuki Series will be held. Right now on Speed Week, trackside to the Parramatta City Raceway.
Yes, I sure have. I've purchased a Ellis with a Getty engine, and I'm ready to go for the summer season.
And you've also decided to go GTi racing.
Yes, and this, after IndyCar, I talked to my father, and he suggested that it'd be great to go driving the Suzuki. And I said, well, you know, I've purchased a speed car, so we approached a few sponsors and come up with the money, and here we are.
Where did you finish in round one?
5th at Oran Park.
Round number 2?
We won it at Lakeside.
And round 3 comes from Winton in Victoria. The first race goes to Adam Clarke. The second race about to get underway. Let's see him in action. There's Adam on the inside in the rain and horn entry, the white number 32 Suzuki. And joining me in commentary is Phil Harrison.
And what a great series the Suzuki Cup is, Steve. The most successful one-make series ever, and 30 cars on a very tight Winton circuit.
Adam Clarke has pole position by virtue of winning the first heat. There's Ric Shaw outside of the front row, Damian White and Christian Jones, Alan Jones' son in the second row, Warren Luff and Andrej Pavicevic in row number 3. Some interesting characters out there.
Most of them all very young, Steve. Ric Shaw, possibly the oldest and most experienced road racer, but these young kids have had plenty of experience in karts, and turn 1 is really important. There goes Clarke.
10 laps ahead of them, and by and large, none have ever raced at this circuit before.
Oh, and Christian Jones has been caught out wide. White's gone through, Pavicevic's gone through, and so's Luff. He'll be going to bed without his ice cream if Daddy Allen finds out.
This is a very unforgiving circuit.
Look at them, 30 Suzukis. Through they go there. But I think we'll find it's Clarke out in the lead in the Maitland Rain and Horn Suzuki. As we just look at some of the back markers, yes it is, Adam Clarke out there in front.
Pavicevic led going into the start of this race, but I'd say if he can keep up the front-running position, Adam Clarke might come out at the end of today leading the GTi Cup Series.
And that's Ric Shaw back in second, and we're riding with Toby Hagan now, courtesy of Suzuki Cam. That's Auto Action's Joshua Dowling in the red car as another one sneaks through on Toby's inside. Toby Hagan, the son of famous motoring journalist and commentator Will Hagan. Young Toby shares the love of auto sports and fine food with his father as he gets right up close on that black Suzuki.
All the drivers are running on Kumho tyres. I don't really think there'd be a tyre problem over 10 laps though, Phil.
No, the big deal with tyres here is working out what pressure, and everyone keeps it a bit of a secret, but I think the quick guys are running about 40 pounds of pressure.
Just look at this match racing up front, will you? Well, one thing I'll give Clarke full credit for, and that's determination. He's not going to give ground unless he has to.
He's very, very smooth, Steve, and Ric Shaw, as you can see, trying the outside, trying the inside, but Clarke really covering himself on all these corners.
You can't tell me karting experience doesn't count.
No, if you can drive a kart, you're not going to have too much trouble in a Suzuki.
Of course, his father, Roger, was one of Australia's leading Grand National sedan drivers on the Speedway ovals for many years, and Alan Jones has been in his ear since the series started. That was a brave move, or at least a look on the outside. One of the few places where you can actually get a slingshot at Winton.
Yeah, but I don't think you can go around the outside of anyone there, especially in a car that's equally powered.
I was saying at the outset that very few of the drivers out here have actually raced on any of the circuits in this series. It started out at Oran Park, moved to Lakeside, today it's at Winton, and of course tomorrow the round is at Eastern Creek.
Well, some of them are still at school. Alan Jones' son Christian, in the pits on Friday, I heard him asking, his father was asking if he's done his homework. Well, that's just incredible. Like, these guys are at school, they don't even have road licences, and they're driving in such a skillful manner.
More roof cam pictorial with Toby Hagan moving through the S's, heading back towards the main straight. Interesting, Phil, for those who haven't caught up with the concept, it's a 9-round series, 32 cars, all identical Suzuki GTIs. The drivers had to purchase them before the start of the series. A little under $30,000 was the outlay. They got track suits, underwear, that's racing underwear, all that goes with it, and the cars are transported to the circuit. All the drivers have to do is arrive for practice, qualifying and the race, and they get to keep the cars at the end of the 9-round series.
Well, that's certainly an incentive to keep your car in one piece, and they arrive at the circuit as Adam Clarke still continues to lead from Ric Shaw. They arrive at the circuit in a convoy of semi-trailers, and for just under about $30,000 these youngsters can go racing. So they can buy the car, the roll bar, everything in the one hit. The only thing they can't buy is talent. And if you could buy talent, I might have had a go at it myself.
Ateco, the New South Wales distributors of Suzuki, came up with the concept, using it as a nursery to find tomorrow's stars in affordable cars.
And that could be one of tomorrow's stars. This is the most successful one-make series ever made. And don't forget, the Laser Series and the Alpha Series produced Tony Longhurst and Mark Scaife. Both guys went on to win the Tui's 1000. We could have a future Tui's 1000 winner in this field, and it could be Adam Clarke.
Well, Adam Clarke, we spoke to at the start of today's program. He's done it all in karting. Look at this. Heavens. These guys have been watching the touring car guys in action.
It won't be Adam Clarke if Ric Shaw's got anything to do with it.
Well, Clarke has achieved all that's possible in karting, and as he said at the start of today's program, he's now to embark on a speedway career with a top-of-the-line car imported from the United States, and he's doing exceptionally well in this GTI series as well, speedway and road racing.
Back in the pack there, using the ripple strips. That's Pavicevic there in front of Luff. Luff, the son of a high-performance driving instructor, so he's going to be in the sin bin if he doesn't drive well. Christian Jones in the black car, back behind them. Still at school, as we said, young Christian, and hasn't he got a great future and a great tutor?
And do you reckon they weren't looking over the safety fence from the pit area when the tourers were out for their first race today to see the proper lines to use at Winton?
Poor old Mrs. Jones. She thought she had problems with Alan Jones racing. Look, now the kid's running. And this is the battle for 4th and 5th. Pavicevic and Luff down the back straight. And this is the fastest part of the circuit as they head into the S's. Look at them rock and roll.
And they've kept them fairly tidy, Phil. I mean, this is the closing segment of round number 3. So this is the end of 6 races, and they've only totaled 1 car.
Well, I don't think the panel beater will end up with RSI after today. But, oh, hang on, I might have spoken too soon. But these Suzuki GTIs certainly handle really well as someone goes through on the inside, and it's Christian Jones.
They have return engagements at Winton, also at Oran Park and at Eastern Creek, but towards the end of this series, the biggies are at Sandown and then Bathurst.
Can you imagine running at Bathurst when you were still at school? It's quite a thought, isn't it? There he is, Christian Jones in the black car, number 27.
I was saying, Phil, a little earlier, Alan Jones was having a word in Adam Clarke's father's ear, Roger Clarke, and telling him to impress upon his son not to miscue on the approach to a corner, because if you do, you're in double jeopardy here at Winton, because the next corner and you're out of sync then for the rest of the circuit.
Yes, Steve, balance and flow is really important here. It's the shortest circuit on the trail, and once you get caught out wide, half a dozen of these little Suzukis will go through on the inside or the outside.
All right, we're riding once more with Toby Hagan. Let's just take in the sights and the sounds of the GTIs in action at Winton. To go out and have a go, isn't it?
It certainly is. Oh, and that's a nice tight shot of our race leader, Adam Clarke, who's still holding out Ric Shaw with only 1 lap to go.
20 years of age from the suburb of Newcastle. Some stones coming up here.
Oh, Toby Hagan, he doesn't like stone chips, he'd prefer potato chips.
Yeah, some are getting a little bit untidy as they move towards the end of their second 10-lapper of today at Winton.
Closing in on Joshua Dowling there in the Auto Action red car. Toby doing a good job back in the middle of the pack. The bloke in front, Aren't the Kumho tyres great? They'll cop it off-road, on-road or anything.
Now, I don't know about quota systems, but I believe there's only one lady through into this series. Only one lady out of 32.
And that's Tanya Golson out of Canberra, the daughter of veteran Bathurst campaigner Ray Golson, as they come through the S's for the last time.
And it's going to be a very impressive win to Adam Clarke that takes him to the lead in the GTi Suzuki Series.
And back in second is Ric Shaw, and third place, a fast finishing good drive from Damian White.
Trust you enjoyed the opener to today's edition of Speed Week. Right now we're going to Calder for the GT Production Series. Hello to Greg McShane.